United Arab Emirates, they are creating smart city initiative. Smart city initiative.
Okay.
That is whereby a nation sit down and decide that I want to build this city for this job. Muhammad then was talking about the whole city. Rulana Gambiro of the IRG was the one to pioneer it, but it didn't materialize. United Arab Emirates today, anybody who has gone to UAE will admit that they are building more smart cities. We may not get there within the first 4 years of the implementation of the policy, but on continuous basis, we may get there. These are among other factors that make somebody like me believe that a 24-hour economic policy is doable, is pragmatic, is realistic, and is going to have a cataclysmic impact on the economic growth of Ghana. When we come back on the second tranche, I will also share with you a research document by a certain lecturer at the University of Aberdeen in UK, who has picked on the NDC proposed policy, dissected the policy, diagnosed the policy, and given a conclusion that if the NDC can have the energy, can have the willpower to implement the policy, it will transform the economy to a level unimaginable.
Now, BOT, I mean, one of the
Whenever I say my PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
You were for a PENDREAM TV in Pacho. When you say the news not off from any the bro. News ya ubabeti in Pacho. So what didn't want to Trebia and so what didn't Trefa. News be I present your platform with you for your voice note not for sending it. I was 0277 128 777. The debate 2 PENDREAM FM so Magana for Ninati Onka. Young court Nenko T and a story I did bro.
After military hospital, I say, and I am so easy hono. Make I say, Syria hospital, I say, and I am so easy hono. I find the young cow some cry. A Chuma bread, your friend almost saying. Fabri is for Eka Omokwayasem. Mwaya Yaman Pegimba Amonese on your Fahu number 2 Mabambo Bia and Yanasem Antiquabri is Mutemia and this in the Baba Yamakwa Namamo. And a day by any 24-hour economy policy. And we said, baby, I can't no. Abraham this wabem. A mapuna omuni ejumano. No more 8%. And then make us say, I could find any Bawumia Abaimu. And Mabuna walk on a hanging now money Ejumano. A 14%. Bebrene year school. Aumuni Ejumane. And so, you want Juma Bebrea. I'm betting me a year. Ejuma, Evia, any anajo. Ko, Abrochia, baby, Ejuma no mona, Ebi Kona Nopa, maybe so Quanajo. I didn't see the Ghana ha. Yenti means CSA, Noma, Senabaya, Ebi Baquanopa, maybe so Quanajo. Now your Mabuni Bebre, so any Jubani Biaye. Enti Makamasem, NDC bar, you're the 24-hour economy bar. Ezu na enjume bia omo be sign ni so be 24-hour economy no eto omutua ma abai no ye be tete so omo be peni se on be 24-hour economy no kani amudi ye ejuma no ye be tete so omo be peni so be 24-hour economy no Yebema bambo for akojina ho ahwe so mbetimi aye omujuma ejuma no abra obi aha omo enti eya NDC one of our major policies na enye no kwa your policies be.
So that was former President John Dramani Mahama, but the former president, whilst addressing a gathering in the Ashanti region, has also taken a swipe at President Dankwa Akufo-Addo and the New Patriotic Party government over failed promises they made to the good people of Ghana. Let's listen to him.
Yeda nyame ase se nipa nhwere omonkwa enso bebre prae na abanwe yenua vice president obeshe bo say ombesa be siesie edwa no se na be ya obetimi edigwa ewo ho ene be begyina ha yi be hwe soro ho na be hwe omo ho a Raho. And that's it. A bona is saying, so. And take Mokama Kuman to you. And this is Baba.
Now, former President John Dramani Mahama further jabbed President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo for criticizing Ghanaians who have spoken against his government.
Me befru stage minya akwabnado for on Nigeria me benkum ha.
I mounted the stage with my brother Kwabnado 4 on my right and Kojo Bonso on my left. We all lifted our hands to show we are one people. But after the regional and parliamentary election, the reconciliation team is yet to mend the broken relationships. Some disgruntled people continue to give conditions, but I want them to know that the NDC train is set to move. If you don't join, you will be left behind.
NDC ketekeno a 2 NDC ketekeno a 2 and I'm fine so one young time amber fra ketekeno bed ebekwejaw president mpo.
In recent times, the president has been making some pronouncements. A traditional leader in the Volta region was asked to go and complete a school block if he has the funding after demanding completion of a long-abandoned structure. Recently, he called a bluff electorate at Kwabri East, who voted the president into power after demanding good roads. He told the people of Volta region after the floods that he was there because he is a president. He said they don't vote for him. Same happened to the people of Ekumfi.
Now, on the 2024 elections, former President John Dramani Mahama has promised or pledged peace ahead of the election.
In election years, there is nervousness that there will be crisis, there will be fighting, and there will be chaos. I just want to use this platform to assure the country that if there's going to be chaos, it's not going to come from me or the party that I lead. Always in election years, there is nervousness that there will be crisis, there will be fighting, and there will be chaos. I just want to use this platform to assure the country that if there's going to be chaos...
So that was former President John Dramani Mahama and leader of the opposition National Democratic Congress. He was in the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, today, and he attended the 24-hour economy, walk that took place today in Kumasi. Thousands of Ghanaians strongly today to Kumasi in order to offer their support to the former president. You can join in the conversation by sending in your views, comments, and contributions on our WhatsApp/text line. I'll be reading those messages out for you. Those of you watching us on Facebook can share the Facebook Live for other people to also watch tonight's edition of the program. Tonight on Hot News, we are looking at the 24-hour economy and its significance since the former president has renewed his commitment, of course, in implementing the policy he voted for in the 2024 elections. I'm joined in the studio by Bernard Odro Techi. He is a certified economist, a certified chartered economist, and he will be helping us understand what this policy in itself is about. BOT, thank you so much for joining us tonight. How are you doing?
Just as great. I'm good. And,
right.
2 days have made me happy for joining the NDC.
Okay.
It was the day I officially made the announcement to be part of the NDC fraternity. And that was 14 December 2020. Okay. And today, I see.
Because what about today?
And let me say good evening to one of your viewers across the globe, whether online or traditional media.
Okay.
Then to the NDC fraternity. Anybody who loves history will admit that the NDC is a people's party.
Okay.
That is non-negotiable.
I see.
Because here is a party that was born out of revolution, the cry of the masses, the call to end Kalabule, the call to end injustice, etc.
Okay.
These ideals propel and brought people together to champion the revolution of 1981. June 4th giving birth to 31st December. Fast forward, the NDC has gone through metamorphosis. But one thing nobody can take away from the NDC is the people's appeal. It's the Congress nature of the party. A party of no discrimination. A party that has an ubiquitous love for anybody who has a good heart to fight. I said joining NDC was the first point, and today, because if you look at the trend analysis of the NDC from 92 to 2020 election, anytime the NDC crosses 27-28% Ashanti region, it's a must win.
Right.
And in fact, when you look at 1992, 1996, Rawlings was doing 31-32% in the Ashanti region.
Right.
And that gave Rawlings 57-58%. 92 was 58%, 96 was 57%. And you can trade the impact of Ashanti regional electoral fortune to the vote, to the victory of Rawlings and the NDC then. Okay. However, when you fast forward from 2000, 2004, 2008, the NDC performance in the Ashanti region kept on dwindling. Fast forward, the late Mills came into the picture. He shot it up. That gave the NDC the needed victory. Similarly, in the year 2012, the NDC did better in 2012 and claimed victory again. If you could tell us in 2020, the outstanding performance of the NDC in the Ashanti region brought the chamber parliament. Because I can tell you, if you look at the real votes from the Ashanti region, it seemed to be higher than even vote from Volta region and other part of the northern region. So in my candid view, anytime people show commitment and interest and loyalty to the NDC in the Ashanti region, it gives a good clear indication of a victory of the NDC in the general election. And I can tell you, I am not a fanatic of crowd. I am not somebody who is moved by, because crowd can be deceptive.
That is true.
But when crowd is organic, there are people who have not been motivated of any type, no ill motive, no orchestration. People come out of their own free will. People that ordinarily would never be part of the NDC begin to show love, show remorse and commitment that we want the NDC back. That is a crowd I respect. And today, when you look at the walk from Abuabu all the way through the Principal Street at the Jubilee Park and the kind of momentum, the ecstasy, the joy in people, they are calling for the comeback of the NDC. My only hope and prayer is that when these people give us their vote, we shall protect it.
We're talking about Ashanti region.
Precisely.
That is the home of a new patriotic party.
Right. Today's work, led by the flag bearer of the NDC and the national chairman, coupled with other party stalwart, was a work of unity. And it was clear, very non-negotiable in the comment of the flag bearer that, look, we are the top. Talk about Dr. Kwabena Dofo, Kojo Bonsu, national chairman, Honorable Muntaka, we have come together, the regional chairman of the NDC in Ashanti region. We are the frontiers of the party. Here we are.
Right.
We've come together in one accord. So if you are the branch, zonal, ward, constituency, regional level, and you cannot unite for a common cause, then you are too late. Then you talk about the element of the Keteke, that the train of the NDC is heading to the Jubilee House.
Okay.
So whether you are the constituency level or the regional level, if we are the top can reunite after a very contentious shape, the hula balloon noise here and there, the cacophony, we still have had the wisdom, the maturity to come together. Nobody ever thought that. If you look at the cacophony that arose out of the presidential primaries of the NDC, Dr. Kwabena before even tried to, he front himself to the court, withdrew the case for peace to prevail. Today, this gentleman, a renowned economist, I'll put a renowned banker, an astute industrialist, there's maturity in him that, look, let's come together and kick the enemy out. Honorable Kodobonsu, former KMA, Gold MD, now a contender of Mahama in the past, they've all come together. So today's work in my country, number one, is a work of unity of purpose.
Okay.
We must unite for power. Because you see, Afafanto has come out of the elephant. So
but if
I could land quick.
Okay, right, you can go ahead.
The Afafanto is now out of the NPP. In the Ashanti region, Woon to me is now dividing the party. The more, I'm not here to talk about him, but these are important deliverables. But if you look at the NDC today, look at the posture of the regional executive in Ashanti region, they are measured in their outbursts and in their talking. And when you put all these pieces together, if we can unite our ranks, bring the Dofor, the Kojobonsu, everybody to the common table, and we can close our ranks and unite our grassroots and the base, victory is assured. Number two is about vigilance. Today's work was a work of vigilance.
Okay.
The flabber of the NDC said that, look, if people cast their vote for us on December 7th, we have to protect that vote. So it is not about me, Mahama, not about our running mate, not about the parliamentary candidate, but about the call for vigilance on the part of party agents, prompters, and everybody. Third spoke about economic recovery, and we'll come to that on the 24-hour economic proposed policy. That look, the economy today is better can be seen in Ashanti, because Ashanti is a region of commerce and trade, and nobody can take that away from the Ashantis and the Kwao people.
Right.
If you take the idiosyncrasies of Ghana, every region has something that makes it stand out. Bono region has what distinguishes, that's the food basket of Ghana. But Ashanti region is a home of culture, heritage, trade, and commerce. These are the idiosyncrasies of Ashanti region. But today, the economy of Ashanti region is a direct replica of the national economy. Number four is leadership of integrity and trust and neglect.
Okay.
The former President Mahama spoke about the fact that anytime the NPP come to power, they neglect where they get their vote.
Right.
So he spoke about leadership of integrity and neglect. The fourth about project continuity. He spoke about the KJTL market and the central market, by the fact that we, the NDC, we commence it. We laid the foundational block near completion. There was a fire outbreak. And your vice president came here to kind of give a braggadocious statement that, look, don't worry, we are coming to do the phase 3, the phase 4, here you are. The last one was about peaceful election nature. Look, I do not think that the NDC we have today can never be equated to a party of violence. NDC is a party of peace. And you can see that in the portrait of the former leader and late President Mills transition to Mahama today. The NDC has changed. And anybody who ever thought that the NDC could be in this state, I'm not sure anybody ever thought that. So today's work is a symbolism of unity, vigilance, economic recovery, leadership of integrity, project continuity, and call for peaceful election. And when we put these pieces together, I can show you victory 2024 is non-negotiable.
Right, you are still watching Hot News right here on Pan-African Television with me, Justice Appiah. You can join in the conversation by sending in your views, comments, and contributions on our WhatsApp stroke text line. I'll be reading those messages out for you. Those of you watching us on Facebook, you can share the Facebook Live for other people to also watch tonight's edition of the program. Let me greet my WA people. Over the weekend, I was in WA and it was massive. I went to WA, I went to Drapa. You know, and Pan-African Television is a big deal in the 5 northern regions. I'm now certain, and I know that Pan-African Television is a channel. You have accepted us, and we are so grateful. Let me greet everyone. I mean, wherever I passed in Wa or Drapa, it was as if, you know, I'm some superstar. I never knew a lot of people watch Pan-African Television, and especially this platform over there. But one thing that I'll say is that we are so grateful for your support. Keep supporting us. Keep watching us. Now, BOT, let's start with the reason why this walk was actually held in Kumasi.
Right.
I believe that this is to create awareness on the set policy that the president or the former president would want to implement if given the nod once again in the 2024 election. What is the significance of this policy that we are talking about?
I have always indicated that in the past, election was quite about muzzles, buga, insult, and you don't build nation with insult. So from the year 2000, our democracy has changed. Our politics has changed. It has not changed to the way US, UK, and the rest are, but we are far ahead of many other countries. And that anybody who knows the history of this country, 96 election was an improvement on 92 election. 2000 election was an improvement of 96 election. Similarly, 2024 election will be an improvement of 2020 election. And why do we say so? There is a research document by Global Info Analytics data 5th October 2023. And they focus on 2024 general election and the very key issues Ghanaians want to base on and vote. After the research they did, and they interviewed the sample size at the end of the day after this research was the methodology. The sample size was 6,423 people. Confidence level was 99%. Margin of error was 1.58%. So that should tell you that it's a document you can rely on. Because to interview over 6,000 plus people to sample their views, some are highly educated people, semi-literate, etc. It's a cut across research. And on page 44, they look at the key issues people want to go to the poll on December 7th. That will be the decider for them. And they enumerated 15 solid regions.
A second, if my producer is there or if the director is there, whilst the discussion is ongoing, I mean, we should be flashing, some of the footage from Ashanti region, I mean, from the walk. So we have them. We played some. So whilst the discussion is ongoing, we can display it. You can go ahead.
Okay.
My brother.
So on the 5th in October, Global Info Analytics did a survey, interviewed over 6,000 people in Ghana, and came out with the key issues that will inform the thinking of Ghanaian voters, both core NPP members, NDC members, and floating voters. At the end of the research, it came out that 15 reasons would determine who wins, who loses 2024 election. And these reasons were, number 1 was the economy, 2 was jobs, 3rd reason was education, 4th was corruption, 5th was health, 6th was road, 7th was petroleum prices, 8th was taxation, 9th was security, 10th was ethnicity, 11th was water, 12th was sanitation, 13th was party membership, 14th was other matters, and 15th was religion. So the NDC cognizance of these key issues that will be the determinant factors decided to focus on the economy. So this was a research-based campaign. Then, similarly, on 29th of November, another research was carried out. At this time around, after the 15th issues have been enumerated, Global Info Analytics went further to ask Ghanaians that, assuming if you are to vote today, what particular campaign policy is going to inform your thinking? 3 key campaign proposed policies were of importance to Ghanaians. Number 1 was 24-hour economy. And in fact, instructively, the most popular campaign policy as of November 2023 was the 24-hour economy, scoring 71%. If your camera can capture it for me.
You can show it to, I think, any of these cameras.
So out of...
so it has been captured.
Good. In November 2023, the 24-hour economic policy proposed scored 71%. Digitalization by Dr. Bawumia scored 20%. Then GTP by Alan scored 3%. So when they interview, and this particular research had a sample size of the methodology, they interviewed 2,745 people. Confidence level was 99%, margin of error 2.41%. So it's a reliable document you can chance on to make a better informed economic argument. So here, the most popular campaign policy in the minds of Ghanaians, the 24-hour economic policy by Mahama scored 71%. Digitalization or the blue economy, so to speak, scored 20%. Great transformational plan by Alan scored 3%. So it means that most Ghanaians, if you allow them today to cast a vote on any given day and they go to the poll, if you take every 100 people, 71% is going to vote, if on the economy, will vote for the NDC. Then On the 4th of December 2023, another research was carried out by the same Global Info Analytics.
Okay.
This time around, Alan has gone on to form the Afrafanto political party, and he was all out there making massive campaign. When Ghanaians were also asked on the broader scope, this was done in the northern region of Ghana. In the northern region of Ghana, the 24-hour economic proposed policy scored 49%. Dr. Mahmoud digitalization scored 37%. Alan GTP scored 4%. This was on December 2023. Then here comes January 4th, 2024.
Right.
Just a recent survey. In the January 4th, 2024 research survey, when Ghanaians were asked the most popular campaign policy they want to vote for, 50% chose 24-hour economic proposed policy, 25% chose Bawumia digitalization, and 8% chose Great Transformational Plan by Alan. So this research work by Global Info Analytics, Fake, Bloomberg, Mood, etc., informed the NDC thinking to push the 24-hour economy.
Okay.
Now somebody want to ask, what is in that policy?
Yes, I mean, of course, that's what people are asking. What is in this policy?
Precisely.
What is this 24-hour economy?
Precisely.
What is it about?
Now, today I heard of our flag former President Mahama
Right.
spoke about the fact that it is not new in it for. And in fact, there is a research document authored by engineer Dr. Shelter Lochu. And he is taking up the pain to look at 3 key countries in the world who have implemented this proposed policy and they have seen the economic dividend. What are those countries? Number 1 is China. Number 2 is United Arab Emirates and South Africa. Permit me to quote some of the portions of his report. And I'm quoting a research document for the purpose of the academic reference, Dr. Engineer Shelter Lochu. And he said that when you go to China, when China has made the bold step to implement the policy, the economic dividend are 1, urbanization and mega city building. So because China implemented this policy mostly in the urban areas of China, it is gradually increasing rural communities to urban communities, because once you are on 24-hour economy, your roads might be tarred, electricity might be improved, security might be improved. And mega cities, what are mega cities? If you take Ghana as a country, and we are talking about mega cities, you can talk about the metropolis. So Accra, Takoradi, Cape Coast, Kumasi, Tamale. Tamale could be seen as a mega city in the thinking of Ghana. Now, because of the 24-hour economic policy happening in China, a lot of communities are becoming mega cities. Number 2 is e-commerce and online services. Now, because of the 24-hour economic policy, e-commerce, which is electronic commerce and online services, is booming in China. Because trading is 24-hour economy. It is not stopping. Day in, day people are trading. The third point is nightlife and entertainment. You and I will agree. The clubs around, the restaurant, these are nightlife entities.
But if all these things are included in this document, then one would also advance same argument as advanced by the Vice President, that we are already running a 24-hour.
I'm going to go into that.
Nightclubs, these Indomie sellers, and all some of the things you mentioned, they operate 24
Thank you very
hours.
much.
So if that is the case, then they're already doing it.
Now, let me finish talking about the impact of the policy in China. Then I'll come to the flip side of those the opponent argument on why it is already in place. The fourth, transportation infrastructure. You will agree with me that if you want to implement a shape system, transport system must be improved. The GPRTs, the OA, the VIP, the new plan, even the aviation sector. One thing that has propelled Singapore to top-notch level in the world is aviation and transportation. So number 5 is shift in work culture. Unlike in the past that people must wake up, go to work 9 a.m., close 5 p.m., the implementation of this policy in China has brought a shift in work culture. You don't need to at all costs go to work 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. because I can tell you today, the momentum traffic in Accra, if the 24-hour economic policy is implemented fully, traffic will go down. Because people don't need to do rush hour. You know that within the timeline, you can choose to be at work 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. So why will a Ghanaian want to work his head at all costs to wake up 4 a.m., be on the roadside all the time to cut traffic to the central business district of Accra? The next one is the financial centers. I can tell you, anybody who knows Shanghai will admit that the stock exchange of Shanghai is improving because of the 24-hour economy, because at any material moment, companies are springing up. And once companies are springing up, they will be listed on the Shanghai stock exchange market. Because look, when companies want to grow, they need to raise equity. Once you want to raise equity, you might be listed on the stock exchange of your country. So these are the immediate benefits. The next one is service-oriented economy. Don't forget that when you have a 24-hour economy, service sector become the ultimate, the penultimate, and industries and other ones will follow. The next one is government support, and that is whereby there is the counter argument against the opponent of the policy who say that once we have chobas running, Indomie sellers running, then we have 24-hour economic policy already in place. We have
filling stations.
That's a blatant lie. That's a blatant lie. And listening to the Chinese government support for their policy, I read. The Chinese government has recognized the importance of 24-hour economy in fostering economic growth. Policies supporting extended business hours. The underlying point is that policies supporting extended business hours, particularly in specific sectors, contribute to developing a more flexible and dynamic economic landscape. What it means is that what support system does government have for the Indomie seller? What support system has the NPP government today put in place for the choba operators in Ashanti region? None. So the mere fact that a filling station in Usu, in Medina, in Adenta, on just a 1 to 100 basis operating 24-hour economy does not mean that on the whole it's a national policy. The NDC want to go the China way to say that what has China done right? One, specific economic policy. What is the NDC seeking to do in the next government? Number one, tax incentive. The NDC says that any company that voluntarily on his own violation decide to sign on to the policy, will be granted tax exemption. Number one. Number two, any company, whether you are in Ashanti region, Bono region, Hafu region, that want to sign on to the policy, you get a reduction in electricity bills you pay. These are conscious policies and framework and ecosystem that will prepare the policy. Ask yourself today, can any company in Ghana raise hands up to say that, oh, because I ran my filling station 24-hour economy, then people have this policy framework? The answer is a big no. So we want to go the China way. Have a system in place to make sure that if Indomie Sellers Association in Ghana want to go 24/7, we'll have an ecosystem for them. If filling station owners want to go 24/7 throughout Greater Accra, we have an improved security system for them. Let me go South Africa. We've dealt with China, how they have done it, and the impact of how China went its way on the 24-hour economic policy and how it has gone. Let's come to South Africa. Urban centers. If you take Johannesburg, Cape Town, Durban, these are major economic hubs with diverse industries. And what has endeared them to grow most is the 24-hour economy. The third one, tourism industry. Imagine waking up one day and tourists arrive in Ghana, and whether it is dawn, night, day, afternoon, they are touring the country. Can you imagine the beauty? The third one is nightlife entertainment, hospitality sector, retail and convenience stores, transportation infrastructure, financial services, security measures, and I want to touch on this one too. The opponent to the proposed policy by Mahama and the NDC, who say that, oh, don't worry, the choba operator, the filling station, the pump attendant operator 24-hour economy, what security measure does the government have for them? The NDC is telling Ghanaians that should we come to power after 7 January 2025, this is what we are going to do. We are going to beef up security in most urban centers that will operate this policy. This is non-existent in Ghana. And you see, this will feed into employing more security service personnel in the country. So prison service, fire service, immigration, police service, the employment capacity will widen. Because, for example, if you are telling Ghanaians that you have about, let's say, 200 companies in Greater Accra alone who have signed on to the 24-hour economic policy, it means that from 8 p.m. in the night to the following day, security must be top-notch. In such a situation, you cannot use the prevailing or existing security force to provide that service. So the next NDC government, unlike today, people are paying 10,000, 20,000 there to get enrollment to police service. The NDC will open the window. Side that, we are going to double the capacity of the Ghana Police Service we have today in the next administration. That is for South Africa. Let me talk briefly on the United Arab Emirates.
And I ask you a question.
United Arab Emirates, they are creating smart city initiative. Smart city initiative.
Okay.
That is whereby a nation sit down and decide that I want to build this city for this job. Mahama then was talking about the whole city. Rulana Gambiro of the IRG was the one to pioneer it, but it didn't materialize. United Arab Emirates today, anybody who has gone to UAE will admit that they are building more smart cities. We may not get there within the first 4 years of the implementation of the policy, but on continuous basis, we may get there. These are among other factors that make somebody like me believe that a 24-hour economic policy is doable, is pragmatic, is realistic, and is going to have a cataclysmic impact on the economic growth of Ghana. When we come back on the second tranche, I will also share with you a research document by a certain lecturer at the University of Aberdeen in UK, who has picked on the NDC proposed policy, dissected the policy, diagnosed the policy, and given a conclusion that if the NDC can have the energy, can have the willpower to implement the policy, it will transform the economy to a level unimaginable.
Now, BOT, I mean, one of the critics or the criticisms of this particular policy has to do with the fact that you can't force this policy on businesses in the country. Now, you and I know that you are asking businesses to subscribe to the policy once it's implemented, and they would have to be benefiting from some incentives that you're going to be giving to these businesses. It behoves on these businesses to subscribe to the policy or not. If they fail to subscribe to the policy, how is it going to be a success?
Fantastic. Permit me to quote, there is a research document from University of Aberdeen Business School, which was authored by Dr. Yakubu Abdul Salam, a working paper on the 24-hour economic proposed policy, titled Evaluating the Impact of a 24-hour Economy on Ghana's Economic Landscape, a computable general equilibrium approach. Now, permit me to read only the abstract.
Go ahead.
I will not touch on the entire paper, but I'll touch only on the abstract to inform my response to your question. That
Go ahead.
The next NDC government cannot force businessmen and women, industrialists, entrepreneurs to sign on to the policy.
Yes.
And that in case these people do not sign on to the policy, what then become the fate of the proposed policy? Is that not your question?
Exactly.
Fantastic. Now, I read the abstract of this detailed research work from University of Aberdeen in UK, authored by Dr. Yakubu Abdul Salam. It reads, and I quote, the National Democratic Congress, Ghana's leading opposition political party, has unveiled an ambitious 24-hour economic proposed policy ahead of country's forthcoming general election in 2024. The policy aims to revitalize the nation's economic landscape by fostering round-the-clock operations in key sectors. So, which businessman wouldn't not be part of a round-the-clock operation? This paper employs a dynamic computable general equilibrium, which is CGE model framework, which is simply mean that they look at the trend of the country grow using some data. So when they look at how much people are earning, how much they are spending, and how much they are investing and saving, that is what you call the computable general equilibrium model framework, underpinned by 2015 Ghana Social Accounting Matrix and the 2024 Ghana Population and Housing Census data to evaluate the potential impact of the Ghana's economy. Results indicate that under the proposed 24 economic policy, Ghana's real GDP growth, not to be confused with GDP growth rate, in 10 years will be 31.71%. What this document seeks to tell Ghanaians is that Ghana's real GDP growth rate in the next 10 years will shoot up to 31.71%. And you see, anytime you have a real GDP growth rate, it is a businessman that benefit. Because in every economic scope, you are looking at productivity and labor size. Now, you've asked a question that, should the business community don't sign on to it, what will be the fate of the policy? I want to sit here and use the something called stochastic analysis. When I look into the crystal ball and the lenses, I can tell you, I've spoken to a lot of businessmen, and two things killing businessmen in Ghana today is taxation and electricity bill. So the businessman in Tema, in Ashama, in Techiman, in Sunyani, in Greater Kumasi, in Takrade, in Tamale, if he's given the opportunity to sign on to the policy, that will consequentially lead to a drastic reduction in electricity bill and tax incentive. It will only take a moron to say I will never sign on. Any businessman I'm looking at you in this camera, who will sit down and fold the arms and not sign on to this policy, then you're a voodooist. You know why?
Not at all.
Take Pan-African TV as a case study. I want to know, how much light bill do you buy a month? Let's take here as a case study. I don't want to go far. Assume that admitting that you spend, let's say, 5,000 on electricity bill on the average. Let us also say on the average every year you pay annual tax of, let's say, 450,000 Ghana cedi. Then Pan-African TV signs on to 24 economic policy. Your electricity bill reduces from 5,000 to 3,500. You are saving 1,500 Ghana cedi. On element of taxation, by signing on to the policy, you get a tax incentive reducing your tax payment from 450,000 to 350,000, saving 100,000.
Right.
So with your electricity and with your taxation, you are saving over 100,000 in cost. Tell me which businessman in Ghana today will not sign on to this. And you see, I have done a research from the Registrar General and Ghana Investment Promotion Center. Ironically, if you take the Ghana Club 100 businessmen and women in Ghana today, 59.8% of them are pro-NPP. I've said it on the show.
I see.
Yes, I have done a research. When you go to GIPC, Ghana Investment Promotion Center, they have what you call the Club 100 companies, meaning the well-performing companies in Ghana. If you take out the veil and look at the director, the shareholders, whether proprietary owners or etc., 59.8% of them are pro-NPP. So in effect, this policy will benefit pro-NPP members more than even NDC, because 59.8% taken for 100% gives you about 39.2%. In this 39.2%, some of them are non-partisan. So in effect, the true NDC members in the Ghana Club 100 companies will be around 22%.
Right.
Compare 22% to 59.8%, it means that if the 24-hour economy proposed policy succeed in Ghana today, the primus inter pares beneficiary will be pro-NPP people. And that is why I think that we, the NDC, should be stubborn to promote the policy. Because should this policy is implemented fully, they will be the first people to cash in. Don't forget, if you take ideological underpinning, the NPP is pro-business, we the NDC, we are pro-social. Meaning we think of our development in terms of electricity, road, hospital, than making profit in our pocket. The NPP think about how they can make profit out of the state. The NDC think about creating an enabling system for businesses to thrive. So don't let anybody, whether it is a politician, civil society, social commentator, lie to Ghanaians that it's going to be compulsory. In effect, people will run and chase the NDC to sign on to this policy. I'm very confident.
Right. Okay. So one of the arguments, has to do with the fact that, listen, this is a country that is already struggling. Sometimes we don't even meet our revenue target. Here's the case: you are saying that for businesses to subscribe to this policy, to sign onto this policy, you're going to be giving them tax incentives. Okay. You're going to be giving them free electricity and all that. People are asking, how do you make up for those losses? Because once you give free incentives in terms of tax and then electricity and all that, you are getting the country, or you are making the country lose some revenue from somewhere. How do we make up for those revenues that we are losing? You're already struggling. It's very difficult for you to be able to generate, to meet even your revenue targets in this country.
Justice, you're perfectly right. Statistically, you are right. Sequentially, you are right. Historically, you are right. But economically, you are wrong.
I see.
Yes. I repeat, statistically, you are right.
Okay.
Historically, you are right.
Okay.
But economically, you are wrong. And
Correct me economically.
Sure. I'm going to use simple economics to build an argument.
Okay.
There's something you call economics of large-scale production.
Okay.
Economics of large-scale production.
Okay.
When a company begins to produce goods and services, the first price they put out in the market is very expensive. As the capacity of the company begin to grow and their mileage and coverage begin to grow, they're able to produce more. Now, the more the company produces, the cheaper the cost of their items is.
Okay.
I take you to history. When people wanted to own mobile phone for the first time, when people wanted to own chips, how do you call it? SIM card. Thank you. Our fathers and grandmothers who are older enough will bear me witnesses to this discourse. When people wanted Ariba, space phone, Vodafone for the first time, it had a name.
Right.
In the olden days, people had to queue. People had to bribe people to buy SIM card. At that time, SIM card was astronomically expensive.
Vodafone used to be Ghana Telecom.
Thank you. At that time, SIM card was not easy to come by. Those of us from the Bono region, people had to travel from Bono region to sleep in Accra to get SIM card. Liberalization came in, the market was open up. Kasapa came in, Globacom came in, Ariba came in, Ghana Telecom started getting competitors.
Tigo,
thank you. And
Airtel.
Now when the SIM was deregulated, other players came in. Guess what? The SIM card you used to buy 5,000, 10,000, some what is like 1,000, 10 million some time pack, they say come for it for free. That is the economics of large scale production. Now when companies begin to produce more, you need to employ more hands. Here comes the argument. SHS graduates were then employed by Tigo, Airtel, MTN, Ariba to go out and market their product on commission. These people were paying taxes on the commission they were earning. So the argument is that historically, you are right to point to we, the NDC, and tell us that when you bring this policy and say tax incentive, reduce electricity, the nation will lose. Because history and data I have as a journalist point to that. The flip side argument of the NDC is that the more we allow the company to create a share system, they will pay income tax. So, let me take Pan Africa as a case study. Hitherto in the past, you had only 40 employees here. The NDC comes and says that we want Pan Africa to run a share system. So, it can be just 1, 2, or 3. Pan Africa said that we can do 3 shifts. So if at one shift we employ 40 people, 3 shifts to be how many people?
Well, that would be like
120
people.
Fantastic. Now the NDC grant you tax incentive of let's say 100,000 a year. This 100,000 a year will create a shortfall in tax revenue. But come to think about it, you've employed 80 additional workers who are going to pay income tax to the Ghana Revenue Authority. So in actual sense, the tax incentive we gave to Pan Africa TV, you are paying with the right hand. So any argument, any historical, statistical argument, whatever argument in the past that says that a full implementation of this policy will reduce to reduction in tax revenue, economically is wrong.
Okay.
Because from economic point of view, the more you increase the size of your labor and productivity goes up, they will pay income tax. And don't forget that company tax is paid on profit after everything. So when Pan African TV, by virtue of engaging 80 additional people, begin to produce more and make more profit, they will pay corporate tax. So it is a chicken and egg situation.
Okay.
And when the next NDC government, which as we speak today, I can say confidently, because I have my ears close to some of the people who are going to implement this policy. There is an implementation plan and committee working on this proposed policy. I can say confidently on this show.
All right.
So that should tell you that we are mindful of the historical and statistical data. We are also guided by the fact that economists of large scale will give us a higher income tax and consequentially corporate tax at the end of every fiscal year.
I invite my viewers in after this question. Now, one of the issues raised is about the fact that if you succeed in getting a lot of businesses to sign on to this policy or to subscribe to this policy, it means that there's going to be increased productivity. Have you found a market for these products?
Thank you, Justice. Like I told you, I have been an ambassador of this policy by my own violation.
Right.
Because as an economist, if a country wants to put up a legal policy, lawyers will advocate for it. If a political party wants to talk about religious policy, the men or women of God in our political party will champion
it up.
So as an economist, and looking within a crystal ball in the economic situation in the country, I made myself an ambassador for this policy, a free will ambassador for this policy. And there are over 40 other ambassadors, including me, championing this policy nationwide. You've asked a question that, should we allow more companies, be it multinationals or local indigenous companies, to sign on to the policy? The net effect is that it will lead to increased productivity.
Yes.
And once productivity is increased and glut can exist, that's overproduction can exist. If overproduction exists, do we have any remedy, any salvage, any ready market for this?
Yes.
The answer is a big yes, and I'll tell you why.
Where's the market?
You see, when you take demand and supply, implicit in this is our types of goods.
Right.
Some goods are elastic, some are inelastic. Elastic goods are good, are responsive to price changes.
Right.
So when you take a product like a SIM card, when you increase the price too high because of competitors in the system, there will be a responsive trend to it.
Right.
But there are some products that when you increase the price, no matter the price of it, because it is inelastic, people will still demand for it.
Very well.
Former President Mahama has said in the policy deliverables that we will set up an accelerated export development council, and he's going to chair that from the presidency.
Okay.
Do you know what that means?
What does it mean?
Kwame Nkrumah at a point in Ghana was the finance minister of Ghana. Can anybody tell me why? Because he wanted certain things to move fast. President Mahama is telling Ghanaians, and I'm saying it on this show today, that should Ghanaians do us a favor on December 7th and cast their vote for the NDC, there's going to be an accelerated export development council under the policy.
Okay.
And he, the president of the country, then will chair that council. What will that council do? Today, we have GIPC, Ghana Investment Promotion Council.
Yeah.
We have GIPA, Ghana Export Promotion Authority. The mandate of these two entities to ensure that we find market for our product. But you see, when the president of the country wanted to fight Galamsey, he set up a ministerial committee and make himself a co-chair. It landed nowhere. However, anything under NDC that the president has chaired is a success. Good example, Terminal 3. President Mahama took Terminal 3 as his bona fide vision and made it happen. Now, the president says that should people sign on to the policy and we produce more goods and services, it leads to glut overproduction in the system. The council that will oversee the exports to look for the market. I, the president of the country, will chair that. Then there's not a president who will put presidency on the line. No, he won't do that.
Right.
But I trust and believe in the words of President Mahama that anything he says, he delivers. So based on this call, no Ghanaian businessman or woman should be worried about overproduction. What you can do is that you are going to adopt consumetrics.
We have to get going.
Consumetrics means that as a businessman, you want to produce, the government will find the market for you.
Right, thank you so much, BOT. Let me invite our viewers. This one says, good evening. I want to remind you that Vodafone was also called One Touch. Charlie P. from Adenta. Thank you so much, Charlie P. Yes, it was. This one says, BOT, is it true? BOT is a true ambassador for the 24-hour economy. Pan-African, good evening. Thank you so much for your message. This one also says, I am surprised when the NDC was not able to put on electricity for 8 years or 8 hours, and they are talking about 24-hour economy. Shame on you. S. Bukadi, Wa, Upper West Region. Thank you so much, Bukadi, for your message. This one says, please, good evening. Nathaniel in UEW. Please, I have been looking for his contact. Please tell him and let me have it. Please. All right. Okay, all right. I will tell him and then you have it. This one says, President Akufo-Addo's true attitude and character is now coming out for Ghanaians to see. If something is not for you and you force yourself to have it, these are the problems that you will face. From James K. Saba. Thank you so much. I'm unable to read your messages, although I have a lot of them over here. Kindly forgive me for not being able to read them. But God willing, tomorrow we are back here and I'll make sure that your messages are read. My name is Justice Appiah and the show has been Hot News. Thank you all so much, Dion, my director, TT, who is my sound man, and then my producer Daniel, as well as my cameraman DJ Money. Thank you all so much for staying up to make sure that we bring hot news to our cherished viewers. This is our time we'll allow us on the program. Make a time with us same time tomorrow. Goodbye. Bro, we are done now.
Story OTCC no a platform my friend PENDREAM TV and I uti story no na o feedback we here empa story awati no any story be our platform no so be awati a opese o my feedback no fafa WhatsApp message or WhatsApp number 0277128777 na yebebo e wo PENDREAM FM Ghana for nyina ate wonka
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase na so far so good say open online portal e wo Ghana nipa share nipa follow nipa comment here to my best of knowledge without any biases PENDREAM TV